Ladies and gentlemen, I, Gaurang Mehra, welcome you one more time to my podcast. And this time, I have someone special. We welcome the Singaporean pro wrestler Alexis Lee into our podcast. She's first ever female pro wrestler from Singapore. She had shared the ring with famous names such as Riho, Katie Forbes, Zheda Zhang, and Emi Sakura. Thank you so much, Alexis Lee, for joining me in this podcast. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Lee, just to ask you, just to start off things here, how long it has been that you have been involved in the field of professional wrestling?
I first started out in pro wrestling at the age of 18, which was 7 years ago. This is my seventh year wrestling, and I have actually wrestled in over 10 countries since then.
Oh wow, that's a lot of numbers actually. And you have also wrestled in India, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, I was part of the TV tapings, which Wrestle Square had a big part to play with.
Uh-huh. Okay, so how your journey in the field of professional wrestling did start? I mean, you were the first female pro wrestler of Singapore. You must have had some difficulties. So please tell our audience something about the difficulty that you had to face in making your name in this industry.
Pretty much my start into pro wrestling was watching it back in high school because I was being bullied in school, and I felt like I needed to kind of like express my anger in a much more creative way, and that was when I got hooked onto wrestling. Then I found out about SPW, Singapore Pro Wrestling, when I was about 17 years old. I went for the
Mhm.
first month official school. Shortly after, I talked to Andrew, who's the boss of SPW, and I started out like the following year, back in 2013, and I've debuted at uh, in August of 2013. So far the journey
Mm.
has been great. Like it was difficult at first because being the first and only female for a few years, it was hard to break in. Like I had to match up to the rest of the guys. I had to everything was where like gender didn't matter. I had to basically be one of the boys, and I was kind of breaking barriers, not just in Singapore but throughout Southeast Asia, because the wrestling scene here in Southeast Asia has been like really green. It's really new. There's not a lot of women in this industry, and I am proud to be one of the first few females that's here in Southeast Asia.
Wow, that's actually a very hard journey, and substantially you have made a name for yourself in the industry. So behind every success story, there is a person who inspires you. So what or who inspired you to be a professional wrestler?
So like I said, I started watching back in high school because of all this bullying and stuff. So the ones who really stood out to me honestly were H, Triple H, and especially Mickey
Oh.
James. Like
Mm-hmm.
back then in the WWE, all these storylines like really helped me guide me through such a difficult time in my life. And they created such a big foundation in what made me want to become a pro wrestler, which was actually to cause change and to actually have some weight behind my words so I could potentially create change and help make the future a little bit better than what I had to deal with.
Hmm. Right. So let's talk about SPW and Singapore as a country. You have said it already that the challenges that you face. So if someone wants to become a professional wrestler in Singapore, so what he or she must remember and what challenges he or she must look out for when trying to make a name in the Singapore circuit of pro wrestling.
I would say Singapore's wrestling circuit is great. Like we are
Mhm.
just 8 years into pro wrestling here in Singapore.
Mhm.
We've had big names here, and we have had we have amazing fan base. So I guess like just to be part of the wrestling scene here is just to be open minded, to be willing to experience, you know, experience like a whole new way of being like, how do I actually put it in proper words? Because it's like everyone
Mm-hmm.
kind of knows how training is for MMA and all that. But with pro wrestling, it's a little
Right.
bit different. It's like it's art meets art meets entertainment meets, martial arts. It's just a combination of things that it's a little bit different from what you would expect from a usual martial arts training.
Mm-hmm.
And
Correct.
yeah, and just like the fan base is amazing. So they've been really supportive of all of us. So I would say it's rather easy to kind of like have some sort of a namesake here. But like when you break out into the independent scenes elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
it's a journey of learning, as do like with everything in life.
Mm. Wow, beautifully put up by you. Uh, so you have faced a lot of people in your whole professional wrestling career. So who among all has been your best opponent till date?
Oh, I've faced so many amazing talents over the year. uh, so I guess like the first handful of people I could actually kind of like just spitball and think of would be Savannah Summers, Emi Sakura, Kira Matsumoto, and Makoto. Like, oh, it's a lot of Japanese people, but those people were crucial in like my wrestling career in the sense that they help allow me to kind of grow and to become who I am right now. And they've also provided me with some like advice, may it be in wrestling or in life, and like that to me is like just simply amazing.
Hmm. So, any one advice that some wrestler has given you that has worked wonders for you that you remember?
I think the one of the things that has been like kind of taught to me is like I have to stand my ground. I don't have to care about what people say. Mostly is that
Mhm.
I have a support system. So like everyone watches out for everyone in a way. Like especially those people that I do trust and care a lot. I know that they'll have my back, and they know that I have their back. So it kind of it's great to have a really good support system that whenever you're casting doubt on yourself, whenever you're going through some hardships in life, like you have this group of people to kind of like learn from their life experiences to kind of like seek advice on. So yeah,
Hmm.
support system is very important because in pro wrestling it's a lot of like psychological kind of like mental warfare.
Right.
It's yeah.
So basically, SPW is like a family.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's great. So you, as we have spoken before about this, you were in India
Yeah.
and you were brilliant in this show named Wrestle India Network. So how was your experience working for Windangal Ke Surma, for Wrestle Square? How did all things went out for you?
It was great. Like this was my first time wrestling in a whole new country here
Mhm.
in India. And like it was my first time meeting some of the talents. I have actually wrestled with Crystal several times, so I know her pretty well. But it was also my first time meeting Mephisto and Alita, and like I think we did a great job in like during the whole show that we've given our best, may it be like beating the shit out of each other or anything. We gave our 100%, and like the guys were all being really supportive, and everyone just took great care of us, which was amazing.
So if I just put it out there in the nature, let's just say that there is a Wrestle India Network Part Two in the making. Would you ever like to come back and work again in the show one
I
more
would love
time?
to. I would love to. There was not a lot of opportunities for me to actually kind of like travel back in the last trip when I went to India. So this time around, I would love to be able to come back and like really see and like experience more of the country and like the culture, everything.
Oh, that's great. That's actually very glad for us too. We are obliged. And all right. So you seem to have wrestled Mona from Wrestle Square a couple of months ago.
Yep, back in
How did
January.
that?
Sorry.
Yeah. So you have faced Mona from Wrestle Square just a couple of months ago. So how did that experience work for you? And is there any advice that you would like to give to the Indian female professional talent, and anything that you would like to tell them that this is the one thing that they can up their game up, because you have an experience in the field of professional wrestling. So anything that you would like to share with us or with the female talent of the country?
I would say mostly is that because I kind of know how the culture is in Asia, where uh, girls are always said do not do this, do that. So I am really proud of all girls like here in Asia as a whole who have actually stepped into the ring and decided to do like wrestling, to even try wrestling, because it is a big feat. It has to be acknowledged that this is a big thing. So to all who has actually stepped into the ring, like good job, man. Like I'm so proud of everyone. And like to all the future up and coming talents in wrestling in female for female wise, I would say be open to learning new things, to listen and like ask for feedback and advice, because it's it's a never like it's a continuous learning experience where even I'm still learning a lot of things and I don't even know everything in the world. It's always changing too. So it's like we have to constantly grow and improve and change. We can't just be happy at our current levels of like experience and all that and be like, okay, I know so much. I have experienced so much. Like I'm going to be
Mhm.
set in these ways. I'm not going to change because this has worked out for me. Like life is not like that. It's gonna constantly evolve, and so does wrestling. So everyone just has to like constantly be learning and improving and just upping their game as a whole.
All right. Okay. Fine. And now, so you had a chance to face this fantastic talent named Hana Kimura, and unfortunate events happened, and we lost. And so you were also a friend of her. And so, how difficult was it for you to handle the emotional disturbance that you went through during that time when you hear the demise of such a brilliant talent?
It was really hard. I would say it's hard for anyone and everyone who actually who knew Hannah, may be a fan, a wrestler, or family of hers. May she rest in
Mhm.
peace. It's a terrible loss for not only the wrestling world but as the world in general to have lost such a beautiful soul. She has been amazing. She didn't deserve all the stuff that's been thrown to her. Neither does anyone else in the world. Which it is a difficult subject to talk about, but as we have seen in recent days, cyberbullying really is it needs more actions has been taken against cyberbullying and such keyboard warrior actions, because people that has like thought in the past that such things that they kind of post or comment over on social media or on such outlets doesn't have like real life repercussions. They need to know that their words is going to hurt a very real person, no matter if they know that person or not, no matter how tough that person looks. Everyone has a human side to them. And and as I guess like right now it's really a time for change. People just need to grow. People need to know what they've been doing is wrong, that they'll change and become a better person, so none of us have to lose anyone else who is like dear to our hearts.
So, what do you think about it? Like, who is more responsible for the ordeal that she went through? Like, who is responsible for it? definitely, like the people on the social media, they don't think, they just write anything or comment anything on a person's personal profile or a page or about her. So wasn't the people who were, not so aware about the mental status, and who didn't have that much kind of a kindness to comment, or was it again the controversial nature of the show that she was a part of? Because after all that, after the show was happening, after all that, these the incidents of cyberbullying started happening with her. So what what happened? Like, who is more responsible? Who shall be held accountable for all this?
The thing about this with this is that it's very hard to pinpoint exactly who's in the wrong. It's just a bad combination of, you know, TV shows needing to edit things to kind of like make things seem a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Fans or people over on social media reacting to it a certain way that the show kind of wants reaction for and all that stuff. It's just a bad combination of things. And we can't really blame it fully on a certain aspect of something, because this is just a culmination of it. It's all these negative things adding into, snowballing into one big giant mess that has led to things happening. And I don't know, it's just like it's I just hope that actions are actually taken now that, such a big impact has been like kind of made in a sense through a tragic loss
Right,
of a friend.
right,
Like, yeah, we just
precisely.
can't lose any more people just because
Mhm.
of senseless, ridiculous, baseless accusations or mean comments, such bullshit that's over on social media or any other platforms. People have
Right.
to understand, really, like truly frigging understand that their words mean something. It may be played off as a joke right now, but over time it
Hmm.
does build up. It does add up. It does have a negative effect on other people's life.
Is it also that famous people, like the people who have a following, who have many followers, and the people know them, they are actually a bit more exposed or vulnerable to scrutiny or abuse than as compared to an average person? Do you think that also plays an important factor in these kind of cyberbullying incidences?
I would say because you're in a spotlight, you are more exposed to many different groups of people. You're exposed to a wider audience of people. Like, take it for example on Instagram. Like, you can easily, because you're in the spotlight, you would have people from all around the world following your every action, following your every move, following your every comment, everything that you're doing. People would have something to say compared to someone who is living out of the spotlight, who may be commenting worse things, but because there's a there's not a lot of people that follow that, they don't get as much comments and such.
Mm.
So people in the spotlight, as much as, you know there's a wider audience looking at them, and like kind of like criticizing their every single move, all these people really do have to understand that these celebrities are still are still human, that they do feel things, that maybe
Right,
like people should just keep their comments to themselves, especially if it's those negative ones, because it just takes such a big effect onto someone's mental health, and you never know what they're doing, like what's going on with their life, and then you
right,
just show regret after things are like taken way too far. It's just like, yeah, it's crazy.
right. So you have said a lot about these bullies who are sitting on their computer table and they are, writing anything that is rather harassment in the name of just criticizing the person. And any any last message that you would like to give those kind of people who spread these kind of negativities on the social media platforms of professional wrestlers or any famous personality for that matter? Any message that you would like to give them, any enlightenment that you would like to give them?
I would say to those people who have like a spotlight shine onto them that, remember all the people that do love you, remember all the good things that people are saying about you and to you, that, try. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but do try to think of all the positive things and like not more, and then like less on the negative things. And like to those people and to those fans and stuff, like to the fans, like
Mm.
please do think about what you're going to type or what you're going to comment or say to anyone. Like basically, if you don't have anything good to say, just don't say it. It doesn't hurt to keep those negative thoughts to yourself. You don't have to tell people every single thought you have, especially those negative ones, which could result in like some catastrophic kind of like reaction or that. Like spread love, not hate. This I think is what we need in the world right now, especially now.
Beautiful lines. Spread love, not hate, guys. Thank you so very much, Alexis, for doing this with us. Thank you so much for sharing your own emotional turbulences with us. And I know it must have been hard for you to reconcile all that happened and, come up and speak all that you have spoken with us. Thank you so much. Thank you really from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so very much for doing this. And I hope that we can talk further. And at that time, these type of incidences will be less in common and action will be taken against the people who commit such kind of hideous things and comment anything that they want to. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Your goodbyes. Thank you so much.